When was the last time you sat in complete silence and didn't reach for your phone? When was the last time you were alone with your thoughts, without music, without distractions, without filling every second with noise? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of us can't handle silence anymore. We've become so addicted to constant stimulation, to endless scrolling, to the noise of the world, that we've forgotten how to sit still with ourselves. And that's exactly why we're stuck. You see, the world celebrates the loud, the aggressive, the ones who never stop moving. But what if I told you that real power, the kind that transforms your life from the inside out, comes from the exact opposite? What if I told you that mastering stillness is the most rebellious, most courageous thing you can do in a world that profits from your distraction? Today, we're diving deep into the art of silence. Not the silence of weakness or avoidance, but the silence of warriors, the silence of samurai masters who understood that true strength is forged in stillness, the silence of Stoics who knew that clarity comes when you stop running from yourself. If you're ready to reclaim your mind, sharpen your focus, and discover a source of power you didn't even know existed, stay with me. But before we go deeper, if this message resonates with you, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is for inner builders, for those who refuse to settle. Join this tribe of warriors committed to rising above the noise. And drop a like if you're ready to transform through stillness. Let's dive in. Let me be clear about something. Silence isn't about doing nothing. Silence is about doing the hardest work there is, facing yourself. See, we live in a culture that has weaponized distraction against us. Social media, entertainment, news cycles, notifications. They're all designed to keep you externally focused, to keep you chasing, reacting, consuming. But here's what they don't want you to know. Every moment you spend in distraction is a moment you're not building yourself from within. The samurai understood this. Before battle, they would sit in meditation, in complete stillness, not to escape reality, but to sharpen their awareness, to become so clear, so present, that when action was required, they moved with precision and power. The Stoics taught the same principle. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, would retreat into silence to strengthen his mind. He knew that external chaos could not touch a man whose inner world was unshakable. And even in the Bible, we see this pattern. Jesus retreated to the wilderness to pray, to fast, to be still. In those moments of silence, he found clarity, strength, and unshakable conviction. This is the method: stillness as a discipline, silence as a practice, not once in a while, but daily. Because here's the truth most people never grasp. You cannot build a strong mind in a noisy environment. You cannot discover who you truly are when you're constantly being told who you should be. Stillness strips away the masks. It removes the noise. And what remains is you, raw, real, and ready to be rebuilt. Now, let's break down exactly how mastering stillness will transform your life. There are 5 pillars that emerge when you commit to this practice. Pillar 1, mental clarity. In the noise, your mind becomes fragmented, 1,000 thoughts competing for attention. But in silence, something extraordinary happens. Your thoughts settle, the fog lifts, and you start to see with crystal clarity. You begin to distinguish between what truly matters and what's just noise, between your authentic desires and the ones planted by external influences, between real problems and manufactured anxiety. This clarity becomes your compass. It guides your decisions. It sharpens your focus. It gives you the power to say no to distractions and yes to what actually builds your future. Pillar 2. Emotional control. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They react to everything. A bad comment online ruins their day. A setback crushes their momentum. A success inflates their ego. But when you practice stillness, you develop something rare: emotional sovereignty. You learn to observe your emotions without being controlled by them. You create space between stimulus and response. And in that space, you find freedom. The warrior who masters silence doesn't lose his temper in battle. The builder who practices stillness doesn't crumble under pressure. Why? Because they've trained themselves to remain centered no matter what chaos surrounds them. Pillar 3. Inner strength. There's a difference between being busy and being strong. Being busy is easy. Anyone can fill their schedule with activity. But being strong, truly strong, requires depth. And depth is only discovered in stillness. When you sit in silence, you're forced to confront everything you've been running from. Your fears, your insecurities, your past mistakes, your uncertain future. Most people can't handle this. They'd rather stay distracted. But you, if you're still watching, you're different. You understand that true strength isn't loud. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need an audience. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing yourself completely, from doing the inner work that no one sees, but everyone feels. Pillar 4. Powerful presence. Have you ever met someone who just commands the room? Not through talking, but through their presence? That's the power of stillness. When you're no longer internally scattered, when you're no longer seeking external validation, when you're no longer running from yourself, you develop a magnetic presence. People feel it. They can't explain it, but they're drawn to it. Because in a world of noise, someone who's genuinely centered stands out like a beacon. This is what the ancient masters possessed. This is what great leaders embody. Not arrogance, not loud displays of power, but a quiet, unshakable presence that says, I am here, I am grounded, I am ready. Pillar 5. Spiritual connection. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, stillness opens the door to something greater than yourself. Call it God, the universe, higher consciousness, or your deepest self. In the silence, you tap into a source of wisdom that transcends logic and reasoning. This is where intuition lives. This is where purpose reveals itself. This is where you receive guidance that can't be found in books or podcasts or motivational videos. The biblical heroes knew this. Abraham, Moses, David, they all had encounters with the divine in moments of stillness and solitude. The samurai masters knew this. Their meditation wasn't just mental training, it was spiritual preparation, and you can access this too, but only if you're willing to be still, to listen, to trust. If you're feeling this message in your soul right now, do me a favor. Drop a comment below and tell me what you're committed to. Say, I will master stillness, or share what silence means to you. Let's build this community of inner warriors together. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Join us. Rise with us. All right, enough philosophy. Let's get practical. How do you actually master stillness in a world designed to keep you distracted? Here's your blueprint. Step 1. Start with sacred mornings. The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything else. Before you check your phone, before you dive into the chaos, claim that time for silence. It doesn't need to be complicated. Sit somewhere quiet, breathe, be present. 5 minutes is enough to start, but make it non-negotiable. This is your armor. This is how you fortify your mind before the world comes at you. Step 2. Create silence. Rituals throughout the day. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Build micro moments of stillness into your routine. Before an important meeting, 2 minutes of silence. Before a difficult conversation, pause and center yourself. Before making a major decision, sit in stillness and listen to your intuition. These moments compound. They train your nervous system to return to calm. They remind you that you always have access to your center, no matter how chaotic life gets. Step 3. Practice digital detox. Be honest with yourself. How much of your day is stolen by mindless scrolling? Set boundaries. Turn off notifications. Designate phone-free zones in your home. Take weekly digital Sabbaths where you disconnect completely. This isn't about rejecting technology. It's about refusing to let it control you. It's about reclaiming your attention as your most valuable asset. Step 4. Embrace solitude. Most people fear being alone because they don't like who they are. But you're not most people. Schedule time alone, not just quiet time, but intentional solitude. Go for walks without headphones. Sit in nature. Drive without the radio. In these moments, you'll discover things about yourself that the noise has been hiding. You'll process emotions you've been suppressing. You'll find answers to questions you didn't even know you were asking. Step 5. Commit to meditation. If you're serious about mastering stillness, meditation isn't optional. It's the gym for your mind. Start simple. 10 minutes a day, focusing on your breath. When thoughts arise, and they will, simply observe them and return to your breath. This practice builds the most valuable skill you can possess, the ability to direct your attention consciously. And here's the secret. Meditation isn't about achieving some blissed-out state. It's about training yourself to remain calm and clear when everything inside you wants to react. That's warrior training. That's inner mastery. Now, let's address the challenges. Because I know what you're thinking, I know the resistance that's already building. I don't have time for this. My life is too busy. I'll start when things calm down. Let me stop you right there. Obstacle 1. I don't have time. You have time. You just don't have priorities. You have time to scroll social media. You have time to watch Netflix. You have time to complain about being overwhelmed. You don't have a time problem. You have a discipline problem. And here's the truth. The busier your life, the more you need stillness. It's not a luxury. It's survival. It's how you prevent burnout. It's how you maintain clarity when everything is demanding your attention. 5 minutes. That's all you need to start. Don't tell me you don't have 5 minutes. Obstacle 2. My mind won't stop. Good. That's supposed to happen. Stillness isn't about forcing your mind to be quiet. It's about observing the chaos without being controlled by it. Your mind is like a wild horse. You don't break it. You train it gently, patiently, consistently. Every time you bring your attention back to the present moment, you're building mental muscle. Every time you observe a thought without chasing it, you're gaining power. It's supposed to be hard. That's how you know it's working. Obstacle 3. I feel anxious in silence. This is the most common resistance, and it's the most important to push through. You feel anxious because silence forces you to confront what you've been avoiding. The unprocessed emotions, the uncomfortable truths, the questions you don't want to answer. But here's what you need to understand, that anxiety isn't created by silence. It was always there. Silence just removes the distractions that were covering it up. And the only way through is through. Sit with the discomfort. Breathe through the anxiety. Trust that on the other side of this resistance is freedom. The warriors of old knew this. They called it meeting your demons, not to be destroyed by them, but to face them, understand them, and ultimately transcend them. Obstacle 4. I don't see immediate results. This is where most people quit. They try silence for a week and expect their entire life to transform. But remember, you're not looking for quick fixes. You're building a foundation. You're cultivating depth. A tree doesn't grow overnight. A warrior isn't forged in a single battle. And a strong mind isn't built in a few days of meditation. Trust the process. Show up daily. And I promise you, 6 months from now, you'll look back and barely recognize who you were. The changes are subtle at first. You'll notice you're less reactive, more centered, better at making decisions, more confident, more at peace. These small shifts compound. They transform everything. So here we are, at the crossroads. You now understand what most people will never grasp, that true power isn't found in the noise. It's cultivated in the silence. You know that the greatest battle you'll ever fight isn't against external enemies. It's against your own distraction, your own fear, your own resistance to stillness. And you have a choice to make. Will you be like everyone else, constantly busy, constantly distracted, constantly avoiding the one thing that could actually change your life? Or will you choose the path of the warrior, the path that requires courage, discipline, and the willingness to face yourself without filters or distractions? This isn't for everyone. Most people will hear this message and do nothing. They'll agree in theory, but never commit in practice. But you, I know you're different, because you're still here, because something in you recognizes the truth of these words. The samurai didn't become legendary by following the crowd. The Stoics didn't become timeless by seeking comfort. The biblical heroes didn't transform the world by playing it safe. They chose the harder path, the path of inner mastery, the path of stillness. And now, that same path stands before you. What happens when you commit? When you truly commit to mastering stillness, here's what changes. Your relationships deepen because you're actually present, not just physically there while mentally elsewhere. Your work improves because you're operating from clarity, not chaos. Your decisions get better because you're connected to your intuition, not just reacting to fear or pressure. Your confidence grows because it's rooted in self-knowledge, not external validation. Your peace becomes unshakable because it comes from within, not from circumstances. You become the person who walks into a room and changes the energy, not through force, but through presence. You become someone people trust, respect, and want to follow. Not because you're loud, but because you're grounded. You become a force of nature, calm in the storm, clear in the confusion, strong when others crumble. This is what mastering stillness does. This is the art of silence. And if you're ready to walk this path, I need you to do 3 things right now. 1. Subscribe to this channel. Become part of this tribe of inner builders. We're creating a community of people who choose depth over distraction, substance over noise. 2. Like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let's spread this truth to those who are ready to receive it. 3. Drop a comment right now. Tell me, what's one commitment you're making today to embrace more stillness in your life? I want to hear from you. I want to know you're in this fight with me. Remember, in a world that celebrates the loud, choose to be still. In a culture that profits from your distraction, reclaim your attention. In a society that fears silence, embrace it as your superpower. The art of silence isn't about escaping life. It's about fully showing up for it. It's about becoming so clear, so centered, so unshakable that nothing can knock you off course. The warriors knew this, the masters lived this, and now it's your turn. Start today, not tomorrow, not when life calms down. Today, 5 minutes of silence, that's all. But do it with intention. Do it with commitment. Do it knowing that you're building something rare and powerful. Your future self is waiting on the other side of your resistance. The person you're meant to become is forged in these moments of stillness. So turn off the noise. Put down the phone, close your eyes, breathe, and listen. Because in the silence, you'll find everything you've been searching for. This is Crush It and Rise. Stand tall, move with purpose, master the silence. Your journey starts now.